What is going on YouTube? My name is Bancroft. Thank you for tuning in. And today we got another Dragon Ball matchup. And it's actually the Battle of Nicks. We have Nick coming back from, having a baby, playing some Star Wars, wanting to come back into Dragon Ball for a little bit. And he's bringing us SS4 Son Goku, SS4 Vegeta, aka SS4 Vegito, Sparking Potara Warrior. And Nick Red is bringing Yamcha back. So yeah, like always, just buttons, links. Let's get into it. So I will say, going into this right now, there is, I think, one misplay at the end of the game. I don't think it changes anything when it comes to overall results, because I've looked over what both players had in their hands, and like I said, looking at it, I do not think it changes the end result of this match. And when we get to that point, I will talk about it and why it was a misplay. So yeah, for those who aren't familiar, the Vegito, SS4 Vegito on the Unawakened side, when you combo a Son Goku Xeno or a Vegeta Xeno card, you get to draw one card. Now, you do need to burst one before you get that draw, but hey, the deck wants cards in the drop, warp for using other effects. And then we have, on the Awakened side, a lot of good stuff. So permanent, you could use, you could choose battle cards from under your black Z-Unison when choosing cards to use for your Union-Potara from your hand. And then auto, once per turn, when your black card with Union skill or a black Z-Unison attacks or activates block or skill, draw one card and get plus 5,000 power for the turn. And then activate battle, once per turn, use two black cards with 5,000 combo power from under your battle cards or Z-Unison, both black, and a combo with their skills and get for turn. Very nice. It's always great. Already real quick, on turn 1 plays, we see because Yamcha had the energy marker, is already been able to explode by playing the Shenron units and using that to play 2 Yamchas, getting a lot of attacks in, getting the Vegito player down to 6 life, and getting them at least established with a Z energy, which will help them go into their Z Awaken. Sorry, play the Z units. I'm not sure why I said Z Awaken. So here we get the attack off, and he's more. SS4 Nick is focusing more on clearing the battlefield right now, which is kind of your best bet to go up against Yamcha, because one of the strategies for Yamcha is like they pretty much dump their hand to play their cards, and then they don't really have a lot of cards in hand to kind of defend themselves. So they're really baiting on getting explosive attacks out very quickly and wide, but then if you're able to control their board, they eventually run out of steam. We do have the Z-Unison on board right now, which is probably one of the best parts about this deck. The ability to pull cards underneath it, to then turn and use those for your pieces is amazing. And also, like, if you have a card underneath there that doesn't work for your piece, you just had to put a card underneath there, you could activate its main to place one card underneath it, I think, to your drop to draw one card. So here we're going over those. Nick does not have anything in the overwhelm area, in the warp, so he could not put cards underneath it. Like I said, Nick's been gone for a bit, so he did kind of sequence out of order, because I think he does have 4 cards in his drop currently. So he could have overwhelmed first, which we can see him do that in a second, and then he could have swung with the Z-Unison afterwards. So here we get the Vegeta. Vegeta does have crit, and the Yamcha player has to take that, unfortunately. Passing to turn 2. And kind of like I mentioned earlier, the way Shenron works is that you get to draw a card, but then you have to bomb deck a card. So because of that process, you're not really balancing out your hand, you're just cycling cards. And so we get another Yamcha hitting the board. We're paying 1 for a pan, which is really great if Vegito player had a battle card on board, because when your leader, it's your leader or one of your red cards. I think it's leader though. No, it's just one card I think on your side gains power. Then you can neg a card on your opponent's side by 20. And here, Yamcha player is kind of pushing for Vegito's life. I don't know, in a situation like this, if that would have been the best cause. I don't know how much experience Yamcha player has with SS4 Vegito. Even though it has 3 markers on it, he did have enough tax. He could have just straight gone into the Z-Unison. Could have probably forced the negate out of Vegito's hand, but this way it would have had to make him reestablish the Z-Unison, burn the energy for that. And I think sometimes that's a better option. If you're able, I know sometimes like seeing the Unisons like a, oh gotta hit it. But in some cases, like especially when these decks need, like the newer decks kind of like need a Z-Unison for majority of their engine, it might not be a bad idea to knock it out of the way before it gets too strong. We have SS4 Vegeta, sparking offense and defense, I think it's what it's called. Yeah, hitting the board finally for 1 energy. Great card. So it's a double strike barrier blocker, and an auto in return limit 1, burst 2. You get to restand it, which is fantastic. So like you get the attack off it, which gives you the Z-Unison's auto. And then on your opponent's turn, you just try and use that again for the placing cards underneath your Z-Unison, which I don't think I clarified that at all. So it's a +1 marker. Let me pull up the card exactly so I can make sure I'm reading it right. So yeah, +1 auto, win this card or one of your black cards of Union skill, attacks or things blocker, place 2 black cards from your warp under this card. Yeah, and then you get all the other stuff from the leader, which is great as well. Majima hitting the board, and it's just another way of just kind of clearing the board. Majima is such a great card. It's a blocker. It gains 20k to your opponent's turn, so it's going to be very strong. Having Bulma Bunny Girl as kind of like a counter to that, very strong. Bringing out this Yamcha, who could potentially be pretty decent in the right situation. This is Desert Hyena. So it's naturally a 20k, but it gets a plus 10k. So it's 30k right now. But the auto here is that when this card KOs an opponent's battle card, switch this card to active mode, and it gains additional 10k power and triple strike for the turn. So even though SS4 Vegito is sitting at 30k, and when depending on how the order works here, like if you could trigger the block to happen first to get rid of the 5k boost, that's probably your best bet, because 5k boost is only for the turn, if correct. Sorry. Oh no, it is. Sorry, it's for the turn. It's the whole turn. Never mind. So like, as soon as he swings the Yamcha, most likely he's gonna get the block off here, making it 35 to 30, and it's just gonna break down. Can he combo up to kind of get over it, and then turn around and get the triple strike because of it, and force the Vegito player to kind of burn their hand? We'll see what happens. We got Unison playing the regional Yamcha once again. No targets on that play. And I think he might have the Sparking 5 now for the effect, which is when this card KOs a card, you get to resand it. Gets plus, I think, 10k in crit. So we're getting a 35k block here. Getting all the autos kind of taken care of, like the ramping a marker and then placing a card underneath it. The leader's effect, the draw a card, plus 5k. So we go up to, yeah, and that just gets rid of it right off the bat. So most likely attacking with Desert Hyena here. Nope, not yet. Like, Nick is tapped out, so I guess the best bet here is if he has the, I think, support of Dark Empire can help him out a lot. But outside that, like, Nick has the opportunity to kind of push really hard here. Nick has a Yamcha player. We're just double checking all the autos here, or not the autos, but the effects. Also, during a battle where this card is attacking when your opponent activates a counter, you get to switch it to active mode. So if he does activate support Dark Empire, not gonna do much. So here we have for 40 to 35 right now. Activating the 10 times Kamehameha effect, which gives an additional 15. So that's 55, I think. Super combo puts it to 45. 50. And then, so this makes it actually 60 because of Nick's hand size. Getting out another 10 times Kamehameha. That way on the following turn, he could use Explosive Dance. Getting the Awaken off now gets restand his energy, which is a great use of his resources right now. Swing of Lead, pretty much the same auto. We'll look top 2 cards, add 1 red card to your hand, discard the other one. We did get Support Dark Empire, which unfortunately, like I said earlier, does not proc on Desert Hyena because it's only when this card's in battle. Just seeing what he's going to add to his hand. He's double checking to see what's more important of his 2 cards he's looking at. Adding 100% Yamcha to his hand. Not a bad choice. And truth be told, like, he could play that card now. So it's 3 energy to play, but once you play it, you burst 5, and your opponent can't activate negate. So, and it makes it 25k. If it were to KO a battle card, it would deal 2 damage. Like, I think that push would have been better. You couldn't reactivate the 10 times Kamehameha because it's not only 1. Yeah, no, I think that would have been a great push actually. Forcing him to either block with Majin Buu, which would then equal it up, and then activating the 10 times Kamehameha, once again just comboing your whole hand out at that point. That could have given him game, depending on what was in Nick's hand, or Vegito's hand. So we're getting a swing with the Big O Vegito doing doing after image. Kind of bring it down a bit. Looks like we got the switching around some over because we attacked moving card underneath the Z-Unison. I looked away to double check I guess if the 10 times Kamehameha had a limit or not. I didn't see what card Vegito player pulled his hand using the overwhelm to Goku. This doesn't change much. Okay, never mind. He's comboing up right here. Yeah, so this doesn't really change too much. He put the card, the Support Dark Empire in his drop. It actually should have gone into his warp instead because technically, because he didn't have a marker on hand, he used the card itself as the token. And the actual extra card was in the drop before the overwhelm occurred. Explosive Dance hitting the board from here on out. Vegito player has to kind of play around his battle cards, or his cards outside of his leader to whatever is in his Z energy. So comboing here from here on out kind of becomes important. Comboing the right cards for your next attack. Here we are using the leader's ability to activate battle. We can put the 16k Vegeta. Yeah. And then we got Cumber coming to play. So part of the activate main for Cumber is that you get to, if your opponent has 3 or more energy, which Yamcha does, place a card from your hand and warp, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, sent the owner's warp. So technically, he could have warped the Yamcha right there first before looking at the live. But like I said, Nick's been on the game for a bit just because of family and trying out Star Wars and whatnot. So it happens. Here we're just kind of doing playing another offense defense SS4 Vegito. And he's not gonna be able to attack with it, but just having it there as another defense, like this pretty much makes 3 blockers going into the next into Yamcha's turn. Here we are slinging the skillless Yamcha, blocking with the Gohan. I don't think any combo is going to occur from here, which means I think it's going to be a passing of the turn. Yeah. So there was the burst 2. Going into turn 4 for Yamcha. Now this is a very interesting turn, depending on what is in his hand. Because the first card he plays will activate the Secret Rare as auto. when your opponent plays a battle card. It's once per turn auto. That's why you have to activate during this time. If you don't, it won't re-trigger. But when your opponent plays a battle card with energy cost 7 or less, you may send one battle card to its owner's hand. If you do, gain control of this that card. Here, Yamcha plays Pan. And the Vegito player chooses not to activate that auto. And this is kind of where the misplay is going to begin. And this is why I said, like, in the end, I'll explain why it doesn't matter as much about this auto not going off now, because it will go off later in the turn. So we swing with the leader, we get a block off going on here. Just kind of get rid of whatever you possibly can before. No, that should not trigger Majin Buu. Yeah, it does not trigger. I think it was what we were verifying. Adding another 100% to his hand. Swinging with the Gohan. Come on, this is a double strike 20k, so it's going to force the Vegito to actually activate, a blocker, which makes it a 35k blocker. Do not think we do any follow-ups on combos. I think it's just we let it bounce. So here we're swinging with the Attack Fury. So in the audio, I had to double check this. He actually targets the Vegito player, and I think it's because he was trying to bait out a negate of some sorts. But Yamcha's auto, which is once per turn, I think it's sparking 5. Yeah, when an opponent's battle card is KO'd in battle with this card, draw one card, switch this card activating, gains 10k crit, and then it only gains gains crit for the turn. It only gains a 10k when it's played. That's my bad earlier. But I think it would have been smarter to have called Yamcha on the board. And then that would have forced him to use the other blocker so it wouldn't turn to a crit. But here we swing a Pan and no blocker once again is called, and we just go ahead and use the leader's ability to combo 2 cards from underneath one of the battle cards. So here we're paying 3 energy. And this is where the misplay begins. All right, so because the Secret Rare wasn't procced earlier, it doesn't get an opportunity to proc again. And like I said, this is just primarily because mixed between Nick's been out of the game for a while and forgot how certain things worked. Because like I said, Nick hasn't been here for I think 2 or 3 months just because of stuff happening. And the Yamcha player, I don't think he's ever played this Secret Rare, so he wasn't aware of the capabilities of how the Secret Rare works. But he takes Yamcha, and it doesn't matter ultimately because I was able to see the cards in hand. Even with the Vegito player activating the blocker on the other Vegito being at 35k, this card being at 25k as you activate the burst, because you cannot negate against 100%, but you can totally still block against it. Nick could only get it up to, I think it was 25 plus 15. I think he had another Z energy, which would put it roughly to 40, and I think he could have gotten to 45, but Vegito player did have enough to get up to 50 on the combo. So he would have out-comboed that attack, and then the pass turn would have occurred, and then from that point on, Vegito would have gotten the game. But that is today's video. Thank you for tuning in. Keep in mind, there's buttons down below. And yeah, that's it. Bye.